So I moved to New Orleans at the beginning of the semester, not knowing a whole lot about the city. I figured it was a city that was still somewhat on the rebound from Katrina, even though it did happen, nearly a decade ago or a little over a decade ago. And I started reading about the health challenges facing this city. Obviously obesity, overweight, physical inactivity um, is something that is very much a problem here, which causes a whole lot of other health concerns. But the one area that kind of kept popping up that I was very interested in was these very concentrated areas, neighborhoods that are very much in poverty. And, one issue that has kind of come from that is childhood malnutrition and food insecurity, just not having access to the proper nutrition that these kids need, which I found to be kind of interesting, just because food is such a big part of the culture here. I don't think you can talk about New Orleans without talking about the food here. Um, and also, I know that there's a surplus of food here. No kid should be going hungry. Um, and so it was definitely an area that I found interesting. I started looking into the different organizations that were taking on this problem and their programs. There's a lot. I did find several. Three that I was focusing on: Propeller, Liberty's Kitchen, and Second Harvest Food Bank. They all had different, unique ways of tackling this issue. Um, Propeller is an organization that kind of collaborates with different policymakers and different organizations to kind of bring about change. So where one organization might have the resources to grow fresh produce, but they might not have the land. Well, then Propeller will step in and say, okay, this organization over here has the land. Let's work something out. Or whereas another organization didn't have the proper equipment to grow the produce, another organization was able to step in and give them that equipment at a discounted price, so that these kids were able to have access to um, these fresh goods. Another organization, Second Harvest Food Bank, they have a backpack program, so where kids are going home for the weekend, or they're on holiday or something like that, and they might not have fresh food or the proper nutrition when they do go home. But now they do, because of this backpack program, where they're sending backpacks full of fresh food, good healthy snacks home with the kid. Um, and with Liberty's Kitchen, they have a school nutrition program where they're serving 4,000 kids daily. Um, all of the meals are prepared fresh on site at the school. Um, and, so these programs are in place to um, help this malnutrition issue, this food insecure um, locations within the city that are uh, you know kind of plagued by this. And again, like I said, I feel like there is a surplus of food within this city. So there really just isn't the need for such a health concern. One thing that I did find very interesting was, um, after talking to the director with Second Harvest Food Bank and Liberty's Kitchen, how much they really care about um, the bigger issues, which is poverty. Which would be poverty here in this situation. With Liberty's Kitchen, or not with Liberty's Kitchen, with Second Harvest Food Bank, the director was telling me that food is a way to get people together, so they can get everybody to the table and sit down and talk about some of the bigger issues, which would be, finding employment, finding um, proper housing, and same thing with Liberty's Kitchen. They kind of are more concerned about helping the youth with learning these life skills and developing a skill set that's gonna help them long term. Putting food on the table, giving these kids the proper nutrition is amazing. It's 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 a great way for them to give back to the community, but they want to do more. And with Liberty's Kitchen in particular, they have a youth development program that does teach these kids skills, particularly in a culinary setting, in the kitchen setting, so they can go on to work at restaurants, and they even are able to employ a lot of people that go through this program at the end of it. So I think that was like one of the biggest things I took away was yes, malnutrition and food insecurity, it is a big issue. It is something that needs to be addressed, but there's a bigger issue at hand, and these kids need to learn, life skills. They need the proper skills to carry them through life and be able to get out of their current situation. So the fact that these organizations are really caring a lot more than just feeding these kids, and they really do care about their futures. It meant a lot. But it was something I definitely was not expecting. All these programs that they have are great, but the fact that they're trying to teach them more and really give them this like a valuable skill set and life lessons and life skills that they can carry with them forever. I really was impressed by that. The one thing that I would say, another thing that I really took away was how much collaboration they have with other organizations. Liberty's Kitchen in particular, they're partnered with over 50 organizations, and I don't think you can make these programs work. You can really make a change in your community without collaboration. Like I said, that was a big thing with Propeller was just getting these organizations to work together and find the gaps and inefficiencies that are kind of, I guess, barriers to getting fresh goods and the proper nutrition to these kids. So I think that was probably the biggest thing I took away, was just how much collaboration is needed for these organizations to work together and really make a change. And there's just an unreal amount of restaurants here, and I know so much food goes to waste. I think further collaboration within these restaurants could take place to keep food from being wasted, and they'll be able to give even more back to the kids. But yeah, I would say that's been the biggest thing that I've been able to take away and been able to grow, is just learning how much collaboration really takes place within these organizations. It's not just them. It's a whole lot of people working together to get this stuff done. So.